Hello, my name's Saylor Copening, and my case study is on All Your Clothes Are Made with Exploited Labor. Patagonia Takes Action to Spur Action by Jean Kelso Sam. So let's get started. Basically, the situation, um, Jillian B. White wrote an article in The Atlantic saying, quote unquote, all your clothes are made with exploited labor. Um, so basically, she wrote this to expose human trafficking violation in mills that were produced that had produced fabric for clothing manufacturers. Um, and basically, the company that mainly did this was Patagonia, and she references them in the Atlantic. Basically, she wrote Patagonia's admission stands out and that it comes from a brand considered a leader in the movement for ethical production. So the reputation of Patagonia. So since its founding, they helped boost the company's reputation as socially responsible. That's kind of what they were known for. Basically, Patagonia was a founding member of the Fair Labor Association. So this association organization basically is dedicated to creating lasting solutions to abusive labor practices. And it's also a nonprofit organization that supports environmental causes as well. But yeah, basically, they were known as being socially responsible due to this. But the key players in this case study was Patagonia. And then I just wanted to reference Patagonia's company founder. I'm not sure how to say his name, Yvon Chouinard. But basically, today he's known as an environmentalist and a philanthropist. But yeah, Patagonia is going to be the key player we touch on. So, ethical dilemma. I just want to speak on the idea that high profile publication can obviously damage a company or a brand, particularly if it's a reputation that was built on a strong record of corporate social responsibility. So, in this case for Patagonia, the fact that they had an article written in the Atlantic was sort of a little bit controversial due to the fact that they have a strong record of corporate social responsibility. Basically, the dilemma we see within this company is labor issues. So labor issues are prevalent throughout the history of clothing manufacturing. They're referred to as sweatshops. So many different clothing brands have been reported to engage in these. And what it includes is gender discrimination, underage child labor, forced overtime, safety violations, denial of sick leave, sexual harassment, physical intimidation, and much, much more. But basically, bringing it back to Patagonia, Patagonia was a founding member of a Fair Labor Association, the Fair Labor Association. However, Patagonia had quick growth. They got popular very quickly, and the ubiquity of poor labor practices in the industry and the use of many subtractors to meet production deadlines soon put Patagonia into a position where their clothes were being made by factories that were unknown to the company and that lacked reliable monitoring for labor violations. So that brings us back to labor issues. So basically, during some audits that were made in 2012, a layer of problems was revealed for Patagonia. So basically, there was human trafficking violations in mills of Tawan. Migrant workers in those mills got their job through labor brokers who charged the workers fees that could, make the workers pay them back in like 2 years. And they would retain the workers' passports until those fees were paid in full. So these workers had to renew their contracts every 3 years. So basically, Patagonia had created an environment similar to one that could be considered modern day slavery, or at least that's what Patagonia quotes it as. So, resolution. Basically, at the time, Patagonia's director of global public relations and communications, Adam Fetcher, initiated contact with a reporter and they arranged the company's leadership and suppliers to reach out to this reporter, and this reporter worked for The Atlantic and wanted to write the article in The Atlantic. So this was part of Patagonia's communication strategy to talk about the use of exploited labor and frame the complex issue as an industry-wide problem and position them as a company that's trying to solve it. Um, so basically, during this development of uh, this article, its mission was to be transparent. They wanted to be transparent with their with the company, within the company, with all their clients, with everyone involved. So Patagonia hired a manager of social responsibility, and they built a social responsibility program with a systematic approach to reduce the number of factories the company used and to monitor those factories and subcontractors. And they wanted to start an internal training program to reassert Patagonia's workplace code of conduct. So more to the resolution, Patagonia's social and environmental responsibility team was the first to receive the results, and they began plans almost immediately for a three-phase response. So the three-phase response was research, remediation, and system-wide implementation. And so they had a nonprofit organization called, sorry if I butcher this, but Variet, to develop a comprehensive migrant worker standard that covered every aspect of employment, and basically just made it a safe work environment. And they applied this standard not only to suppliers in Taiwan, where the problems were, initially detected, but against the whole chain, and they made it freely available for any other brand or company to make sure that their company and brand are keeping their workers safe. So more to the resolution. So basically, they, in a way, exposed themselves to the public and took full responsibility for what had happened and created a full plan to resolve it. And the foundation of the plan was just to acknowledge the problem and take responsibility, to demonstrate the issues in the clothing industry and communicate the actions the company wanted to take in resolving this issue. And in the end, they worked with a journalist who had a reputation for treating complex issues with depth and clarity, and it was written for The Atlantic, and it dove deep into the issues and helped the company really express themselves. So my questions for you guys is, how could Patagonia have responded in a quicker manner? Do you think they could have, or do you think what they did was pretty spot on? Another one, do you think Patagonia resolved the situation to their best ability, or do you think more could have been done? And have you ever bought clothing from a brand that you found out later had a similar issue to this one? But yeah, that is all my questions. Thank you.